Hi folks, welcome to Unicorn Light Tarot. So glad to have you here today. For people who are returning and brand new folks who are coming in for a little guidance, welcome, welcome, welcome. So today I thought I was trying to figure out how I could make these general readings a little bit more specific for you guys. So I thought we would introduce some automatic writing. Normally I wouldn't do this on a one-on-one session because obviously I'm working with just one energy. So everything that comes up is just meant for you. And it's a lot more specific, but with these general readings, and I'm really glad that a lot of this is resonating. So thank you folks for letting me know in the comments that you're sending either privately or down below in the conversation boxes. I couldn't even think that, you know, all of this stuff is resonating. I love to hear from you guys. That's absolutely wonderful. It's good to know that you're finding some guidance and some hope through some of these readings, because literally that's why we do this. But I thought today what we would do is we would introduce some automatic writing for each pile, and anything or any word that comes up, I'm literally just going to relate it as it comes to me. And we're just going to send it out there into the universe and straight into your arms, as it were. And maybe some of those words can be specifically for individuals listening to that pile. So it's another way of making this a little bit more personal. So we're going to try that today. So specifically what we're doing today is, this is a timeless reading. This is the week coming up. So anytime you come across this reading and this video, it'll be from that day onwards, 7 days later. So this will be uploaded. Let's see, it'll be uploaded on a Sunday. So that will be easy all the way through that week. But again, this is timeless. Whenever you come across it, it's that week coming up. So whatever day to the following week of that day. And we have 3 piles as normal here. Pile 1, pile 2, pile 3. And what I thought I would do is underneath each of these is a word, which is also sort of, in a way, you know, the theme of what you will be working with this week. Now, you can't see what the words are. I thought I'd keep that as a little bit of a surprise. I want you to just concentrate on which pile, just based on energy that you are thinking, have some words of wisdom for you. So let's go ahead and we'll just take a deep breath and ground our energy right down there into the ground and ask our guardian angels to come in. And as always, we are asking for any messages that resonate, messages of love and light. If you need to go ahead and pause the video, as always, please look after yourself and do whatever you need to do. Do not rush. And take your time and figure out which pile is resonating with you. And as always, down below, the timestamps will be down there, so you can go straight to your pile and go straight to your message. So let's go ahead and move these out of the way just for now. And okay, pile 1. So again, we are looking for, we're going to do some automatic writing here before we get into this. But again, this is a timeless message, and we are looking for what it is that is going to come up for you this week. And let's just get an idea of the things that you'll be dealing with this week and get you some messages and some help. All right, so your word, pile 1, is trust. So we're going to put this here. So that could be trusting the universe, trusting yourself, trusting in your path, that you're on the right path. So the first thing I'm going to do is, let's do a little bit of automatic writing. So I'm just going to see pile 1, what we've got here. For some reason, I'm getting the name Henry. I'm just putting that down there. I'm also getting Cancer. And I'm also getting either 16 or 17, and green, blue. Some of these so you can see these under the camera. Let's see. It's either Henry or Henrietta here. And let's see what else. I am getting the word trust again. And let's see if there's anything else for you. For some reason, moonbeam. Okay, so we have Henry or Henrietta, Cancer. We have, could be the sign Cancer. We have 1617, green, blue. We have trust and moonbeam. So these are just channeled writings, automatic writings that are coming out. I'm not going to put anything on this. If any of those words triggered anything for you in a good way, and if any of these words resonate for you on a personal level, please do let me know in the comments below. But I don't want to go too much into this because these are your words, and yeah, they don't need to be interpreted by me. All right, so pile 1, trust. Queen of the Unicorns. You are blessed with love, compassion, and wisdom. Okay, 8 of Cups. Fertility, which is reversed. 8 of Cups is also reversed. You have to see the butterfly, beauty. All right. Then we have the Hermit, which is reversed. We have the 2 of Pentacles, which is reversed. We have the Knight of Swords, which is also reversed, and mysticism. All right, so as a reminder, pile 1, we are looking into what's coming up for you this week. Now, we are coming into the end of 2019, and this has been a little bit of a crazy year for a lot of people, and particularly the latter part of the year, which is what we're in right now. There's a feeling of sort of completion and, you know, some might say resurrection, and all sorts of things, and releasing, getting ready for the new year. So this is a beautiful time, and it can also be a little bit of a tough time for people. So I feel as though the first thing that I'm getting, pile 1, is that you're definitely processing and reassessing. And I think this next week will honestly be about, I'm getting very much like you being out into the world on your own terms. I feel as though the last couple of weeks you have been reassessing quite a lot. And I feel as though, you know, the one thing that I'm getting, pile 1, is that not going for things that don't serve you anymore, even in a small sense. And embracing beauty, the butterfly here. Now, the butterfly, you've come out of the stage that was before, the catalyst stage, and you've come out of that, and now you're in the butterfly stage. So I feel as though this is kind of a beautiful time for you, but it's also quite of a sad time. I think in some ways it's sort of a releasing time. I think you've come out of a whole process of releasing. I feel like a lot of grief has come up from your lungs, and a lot of stuff you've been releasing in a really, really beautiful way. The way in which you've been releasing, I feel like, is a lot of emotions that would have previously have held you back, and you didn't want to be around a lot of people at times. I also feel like this is a specific time of year where this happens for you anyway. You're sort of triggered by it a little bit, but I think you're really embracing it, and you're really pulling in your power this year and releasing what no longer serves you. I feel as though that releasing, I can feel a lot of like tears coming and flowing, but it's been a really beautiful release. It's going to bring you out into the world in a new way. I feel as though for some reason I'm getting this sort of vision of you seeing the world as quite barren before, which is the fertility here reversed, and also the 8 of Cups, like not really being able to appreciate who you are and how much you've been through and who you have become. I feel as though you're coming into the Queen of Unicorns, which is truly beautiful. But I also really feel that whatever you've just released very recently is this heaviness that you had before, like I said, particularly with grief. And now you've left that space. You can fill it with whoever it is that you are, which is full of power and mysticism. So I feel as though whatever you're doing, first of all, keep up, because it's absolutely brilliant. And I feel as though this week you'll be reaping more of the rewards of feeling I feel like you've been through the relief and the release stage. And the relief was kind of a Freudian slip, but actually it did come out because you are feeling the relief now that you've been releasing. So I feel as though this week is you actually getting out into the world and seeing it sort of brand new, without the heaviness of the old, without feeling as though you're taking on taking on other people's energies. I feel as though specifically there's been a lifelong pattern for you. I wonder now, I wonder with either the Henry or the Henrietta, if that is sort of a name of somebody in your family, like an older family member that that could actually represent sort of an old way of doing things. So no, there's nothing wrong with old or new. If the old way works, do it. But I feel like for you, there's been a reclaiming of power, a reclaiming of living in the world the way that you want to do it, being able to shield yourself from what didn't work, thank people for for the best that they were doing, and move away from the stuff that didn't work for you, and to be able to reclaim your own soul in your own way. So I feel as though this week is definitely about you coming through the other side of it, already have been reclaimed, and getting out into the world and literally seeing the world anew. So this is you. So this is, you're not carrying this energy in with you. This is the energy that you're carrying in with you for the week coming up. This is the energy that you've just released. Now, a lot of this that you're releasing is a sort of how do I say it, a masculine energy that didn't quite work, or your affiliation with the masculine. You've redefined that on your own terms, and you were able to release all that wasn't working there. There wasn't a balance with the masculine with you, and that is because the way in which you were around masculinity when you were younger didn't really work with the masculine energy in a sort of a positive way. It was sort of forceful and dare I say, arrogant. So, you know, you've had to, and this is nothing to do with gender. This is just a masculine energy. Now, this could have been like female energy, you know, female people, gender around you, and yet had a very strong masculine energy. But whatever this energy was around you growing up, I feel as though, let's put these down for a minute. Let's put you down for a minute, because this is you. I feel as though that energy didn't really allow for you to be seen, to be you. It sort of closed your world down a little bit, and you were, you know, maybe they were trying to shield you, but perhaps they shielded you too much, because, you know, you were shielded into this tiny little world, and all you saw in this world, in this tiny little world as you were growing up, was, you know, a lot of stuff that wasn't working. And then you really didn't have the hope for the world, and you carried this world around you a lot of the times. I keep seeing like you're carrying this really, really heavy energy, and then every time you look out into the world, it was clouded by this version of the world that you were brought up with. I hope this makes sense, Pile One. Bear with me. It's all coming to a conclusion. But you've just released all of that. On many levels, you knew that a lot of it wasn't you, but you did the hard work of getting in there and extracting really what wasn't you. And I feel as though now some of this is making sense. There was a 16 and a 17 here, the numbers. I feel as though you did redefine yourself at that time, but I also feel as though there's an aspect of self that if you go back to that time, if you were 16 and 17, you really did come up with your own beauty. And I feel as though if you, regardless of what age you are, if you're 16 or 17, then this is beautiful already. But if you go back to if you're a little bit older and you go back to the age when you were 16 or 17, you might find that that whatever it is that your soul was trying to say is the same thing that it's trying to say now. Now, you could have gone off and done other things after that time, but an aspect of self that you've been working on and now about to put out into the world is really returning to your teenage years in a really good way. I also feel as though the Cancer here has many different reasons, but for some of you, it's water signs, also being near water, needing to be rejuvenated by water. Also, there's going to be some moves for you. I don't know. For some of you, again, this is a general reading. Please bear that in mind. But I feel as though some of you are physically feeling like you need to move on, like all the processing that you've done in the house that you're in or the situation that you're in, whatever is going on, 2020 needs to be a brand new beginning. So some of you may be thinking about physically moving on from your house or the city that you live in. Now, again, you know, this is just a reading. again, a timeless reading for the week. Let's not overwhelm you. You don't need to figure out where you're going or have everything set up and start looking for brand new jobs for 2020. It's more than good enough to just sit with the idea of saying, I'm ready to move, and let the universe work with you. Remember, part of this is trusting. You're at a brand new phase of your life where a lot of this is, wherever you've been before, is not going to feel familiar. So if you find yourself in a little bit of despair going, I don't know what to do, that's okay. That's okay. Just sit down, have a cup of tea or a glass of wine, just reach out to somebody and just, I think for you, communication has been integral for a lot of your healing. And you know how to say, call up somebody or speak to somebody or communicate. This is how I'm feeling, and have the other person go, it's going to be okay. I feel as though you've done a lot of this work on your own. You've not let a lot of people in, and that could have been quite painful for you. You're no longer at that. All right. So before, when you were looking out into the world, it was heavily colored by the way in which you were brought up or the examples you were given while growing up. Let's be more specific. So when you looked out into the world before, you didn't always see opportunities where they could have been. You didn't always embrace all of your talents or saw specifically how your talents could be integrated into the world and pull you onto your path a lot sooner and make you feel connected to the world. You were actually not really connected to the world because you were carrying around this sort of very narrow viewpoint, again, which really wasn't yours, which was inherited. But in the brand new week coming up, you got mysticism. This is you. Now, the color purple, not the book or the film, which is incredible, by the way, one of my favorites, but the color purple is a very spiritual color. You're coming up and has been moving through all of your chakras. So you've been doing this work, and it's really coming to a brand new beginning for you. Again, this beginning may not feel it may not feel at all precious. It may still feel a little heavy. It may still feel a little raw, which is why you might be looking to get a little bit of guidance, which is why you might be here, but you are in the right place. But trust me, this is a brand new beginning. Queen of the Unicorns, you're able to claim your power in a very, very specific way. Butterfly beauty, that also is an indication that you've done this work. And this new beginning for you this week is about going out there and seeing the world brand new on your own terms. Now, because everything is brand new, I'm not even feeling as though, there's anything really sort of concrete for you coming in. That's not to say that there isn't, but I think that this week, what I'm getting for you, the message that I'm getting for you this week is about not doing anything concrete. I think what you did in the past is you're definitely a person of action, and that's not changed, and that's wonderful. No one's saying you should change. Action is wonderful, but I think the message that I'm getting for you is the balance is already happening. It's already happening. You've done the work. Let's not look for anything concrete. Let's just look for the next week into the world with brand new eyes and see the opportunities. Let's purposely not pick anything, because brand new opportunities are coming in for you at a rapid rate, and like literally the next day you could be offered something better. So the message I'm getting for you is, for the next week, don't accept anything less than you should. Enjoy the world with brand new eyes. Get out there, be yourself, enjoy the lightness that you're feeling. There's still just a little bit extra to be shed. But really, at the end of the day, you've got this. This is the work that you've been doing. It's a lifelong work. And the one thing that I'm getting is from ancestors too. This is just not lifetime work for you. This is ancestors. You've been healing your ancestors all the way through. And for any of you who have been thinking about, or who either already have children, who have been thinking about having children, all of the work that you've just done will enable whatever strengthening you have already with your child that's already existing in this lifetime, or with new children. For those of you who were a little bit nervous about having children because you didn't know if I don't like to say good enough, but this is the words that you're giving me. You didn't know if you could or were able to give them a brand new life because you still felt heavy from the energy that you brought in from past lives and past ancestors, and all of this at the beginning of your life. All of that karma is gone now. It's been integrated. So this is something brand new for you for 2020. For any of you who are thinking about getting out there and having some kids. And again, if you have kids, you know, expect some serious shifts between your energy, between your kids. This is going to be an incredible time for you. So again, to recap, enjoy this week. This is brand new beginnings for you. Allow the rest of it to sort of, I would say, seep away, but all of the main work is done. Brand new beginnings, brand new looking at the world with brand new eyes. Please allow yourself the space to choose wisely. Like I said, you're going to be inundated with a lot of different opportunities first, some of which for some of you may not be in the city that you're in. So just give yourself some time. Don't rush into anything this week. Just really enjoy where you are, and just reestablish yourself with the trust, the new trust that you now have on your own terms with the universe. So pile one, this is just an incredible journey that you've been on. And if any of this resonated, I would love to hear from you, especially with the automatic writing, which is supposed to be just a little bit extra specificity for you. So if any of this resonated, please do let me know in the comments. Give me a thumbs up. If any of you are looking for a reading at the beginning of 2020, I am available. All details are below. But until we see each other again, or until we hear from each other again, until you visit me again, I want to say thank you for trusting me. Thank you for being here. I'm so excited for you, pile one. You are incredible. You take care. Bye-bye. Okay, pile two. This is all you. So let's do this. So as a reminder, this is a timeless reading. This is what will be occurring for you in the week ahead. We're going to do a little bit of automatic writing. Now, whenever you get this, or whenever you come across this video, that will be the week that you're moving into. So your word is belief. So that is sort of the anchor to what we will be working with here today, the message that we will be working with here today. And we'll have some clarifiers here with both our oracle cards and our tarot cards. So belief, whether belief in yourself, belief in the world, we'll see. Now let's just see what we've got here. And again, for some reason, tangerine, I'm literally, this could be a color. I'm not going to put too much onto this. I'm just literally channeling these messages to see if any of these resonate with you. I'm definitely getting a water energy, specifically lake. For some of you, it could be an ocean, but I got shown a lake first. Connection to music. Maybe we can get some lyrics here. I don't usually do this, but with music, it's for some reason, it's Little Darling. What is it? Little Darling. It's been a long so winter. That song, is that a Beatles song? I'm not sure why that's coming up. Yeah, not really channeling music, but that did come up. That's just specifically for pile two. Yeah. If you want to look those lyrics up, I just got the first line of it. It does feel familiar, but I'm kind of blanking on what that is. But anyway, that's that. Let's see. And for some reason, I don't know why, but I also got the word leprechaun. That could be Irish, but also I think it's sort of fairy energy also. Yeah, I'm definitely getting forest. I'm definitely getting tree, return to nature. But specifically leprechaun. And let's see if there's anything is. Again, roots, tree, anything else with the water, lake, tangerine. That just could be a color, but it's very specifically, I didn't get orange, I got tangerine. And the other thing I got, be safe. I don't know what that means. It's not an alarm thing. I don't think any of you are necessarily, it's not about being in danger, but I definitely did get be safe. So that's the end of that. So if any of that resonated with you specifically, that's great. Pile two. That's weird about the lyrics, though. That's just so funny. I don't normally get that. So let's get a clarifier. Let's bring out... So we've got belief here. So help. The help you need is on its way, so keep watching for it. So maybe that correlates to be safe. Deception and wisdom, the owl. Okay, Three of Cups. New beginnings. That's wonderful. Okay, so we have Four of Wands reversed. We also have the Three of Wands here. Okay, so I think I'm getting, and this is stayed up, and then Eight of Cups reversed and rejection. Okay, so there's a few things going on here. So the one thing I'm getting, pile two, is belief in yourself is the one thing too. I feel as though you're very, very sensitive soul, but in a very, very specific way. Now, the being safe, like I said, you know, when we did the automatic writing earlier, it's really... that's hopefully that resonates with some of you, but the be safe, I think, is specifically for pile two, is coming in is as more of a general message. Now, again, I do want to reiterate, it's got nothing to do with being safe. You're not putting yourself in harm's way per se, but I feel as though you do have, you do wonder about your journey and whether you're taking, let's be specific about whether you're taking the right steps on your journey and whether you're putting yourself into situations that match where you should be going. So the one thing that I'm getting here is belief in yourself. We're going to put this here, belief in yourself, and it all stems from belief in yourself. So it's coming back to learning to work with your intuition again. I think you went off the roads a little bit and was starting to go into that practical mindset. I do this sometimes, choosing people and situations. And I think a lot of you have been thinking back. You know, this is the end of, this is a timeless reading, but when this reading is coming up, it is at the end of a particular year, which is 2019. But regardless of that, I think you have spent the last couple of months really assessing your life in a way that's very positive, so you can release. There's a little bit of an aspect to this in pile one. For pile two, you're welcome to go to pile one and see if any of that resonates. I have a feeling that a lot of these are going to be linked together, so you could almost like listen to all of them, and I think on some level some of these will resonate. Some of the information each pile will resonate. But I think for this week, it's really about assessing and releasing some fear that you've had, taking on rejection. I feel as though you've had a very specific way of being in the world. You've not always asked for help when you could have, or you've been embarrassed about asking for help. And what you've done is narrowed your world. Now, Pile 1 was really interesting because there's a little bit of a different energy insofar as Pile 1 had their world narrowed for them very early on, but carried that viewpoint with them. For you, there's a little aspect of that with you, but you've narrowed your world because you were so sensitive and such a beautiful soul, and you were hurt so easily that you narrowed your own world in order to deal with your world. Now, what you did is, in some ways, that was really good, because then you were able to deal with yourself and deal with your own energy and come, I would say, in some cases, come head to head with your own ego. And that was your process for releasing. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody has their own way of doing that. But now you're stuck with a slightly narrow world. And now it's about getting back out there and being with people and seeing things a little bit differently. So what this world, your process, now we're getting to your week, so bear with me. This is all the stuff that you've just been through. So what you've been doing is, because you've narrowed your world in order to heal yourself, which I feel as though you've been very successful with, well done, because your world has been narrowed to the extent where you stop trusting yourself. So, you know, your intuition, you've blocked a little aspect of self. So when you put out energy into the world, it wasn't always received back as quickly as it could be, because you narrowed your world. So when you narrow your world, there's a form of protection, a little bit of a shield, a little bit of a wall. And like I said, at times I feel as though you needed to do that, particularly with the people that were around you. I feel like there was a lot of conflict around you. There could have been a lot of conflict that was inner conflict too. And in order to shut it down, you shut everything out so you could deal with that inner conflict. Again, how you dealt with your own pain is totally up to you. And in many ways it did work. So well done. But now you're opening up to the world on your own, on your with your own version of self intact, and you have this narrow world. And now you have to, what you'll be doing this week is opening up those shields and breaking down those walls. And I'm not sure that you understand that that's exactly what, or you're completely cognizant of the fact that you had to put up these shields and these walls in order to protect and in order to heal the way that you did. You shielded yourself. You absolutely did. It's almost like a lone wolf on a camp doing all of this stuff. But I'm not sure that you really quite understand that, how that blocked out the great stuff. Now, I think some of the really good stuff came in because when you took a really, really big chance out there in the last couple of months or even in the last year, I think the rewards were huge and it led on to other things. And I think that's wonderful. But I also think that it was few and far between that you actually put yourself out there in that way. Now, for this week, what we're doing is what you're doing. And what we're doing, because we're with you, because you have spirit guides that are with you, is that you have your new beginnings, and you've really released the rejection, and you've realized that you had this very specific process because you were coming from a narrow version of the world. When you put yourself out there in a very specific way and nothing came back, you took that as rejection. And because you're such a sensitive soul, you took that to heart. Now you're realizing that actually what you were doing were taking calculated risks. There's nothing wrong with that, but they were almost too calculated. They weren't coming from your heart. The universe was saying they didn't actually work out because it's not really what you wanted. So this is a good thing. So I feel like what you're realizing is this exactly. So you're taking all the rejection that you felt before. I never heard back from that person. I never heard back from that situation. Oh my goodness, am I not good enough? And what you're doing is saying you're really understanding. So you're seeing everything from a not much larger viewpoint. Oh my goodness, I didn't want this anyway. Thank you, universe, for not wasting my time. Whereas, maybe a couple of years ago, that energy would have come back to you. You would have gotten it. And then you would have spent the next 6 weeks going, how do I get out of this? I don't want this. Oh my goodness. So this is a beautiful thing for you. The universe is actually looking after you in a really great way. So your new beginnings for you this week is realizing how you're working with the energy in your life completely differently. Now, I feel as though not only did you see the world with a little bit of a clouded vision. Now, I want to be clear, everybody does. But you've been really aware of this. And you've had this path where you feel like 3 steps forwards, 5 steps backwards, 10 steps forward, 2 steps backwards. And you've actually been quite frustrated with this process. But I would say, honestly, that this process was just a part of your past. And it was just an aspect of you narrowing your world so you could go ahead and deal with everything. But honestly, that's open and up for... So that's an aspect of your life that you don't have to worry about. That's something that you had done before, and that's a process that you have now left behind. So what we have, and this is what I did for pile 1. So this is really the energy that was leading up into the week. So we're going to put this aside now because you're really not dealing with this. So what we're doing here is help is on its way. Keep watching for it. So there's 2 different things that's happening with this. 3 of Cups celebration. We have the new beginnings, and then you have the owl, you have the belief. So there's a few things coming up in your new world and new beginnings this week, which is really fantastic, is that you're learning to discern and go for your calculated risks are now going to be really calculated. They weren't really calculated risks before. They were just like, what do I have the energy to go for? So now when this new week is going to be, how will I be taking calculated risks? And the 13 is another number that's really great for you. It's going to be your lucky number. Some of you may be born on the 13th. or have like a favorite sibling or somebody who's in your life that's born on the 13th, or it may actually be a number that really resonates with you. I know a lot of people think of 13 as being unlucky, but for those who are resonating with this, that's not an unlucky number for you. It's a brand new, beautiful number for you. It's a number that you can use, in the lottery any way you want to do it this week. That number's really going to work for you. But this belief system for you is learning how to trust yourself and learning how to walk on your path using your heartfelt center. This is what I really want versus going for what it is I think I should be going for. Now, this has been a theme throughout the year of 2019, really going for what it is that you really want versus what you think you can get. So this is something that you're going to be doing this week. The help card, like I said, has two different versions of it. You're learning how to ask for help without regretting it and knowing that there is help for you. You're the sort of person that is very ashamed, I would say, in the past of asking for help. Not easy for you to do that. You would rather suffer in silence, but you're learning how to step up and you're learning to let that help in. So on many different degrees, it's teaching you how to expand your world, because you do absolutely trust the people that you're asking help from. You're not randomly asking people for help. That's not what you would be doing. So belief in yourself, learning how to act on your intuition and a heartfelt centered life, and relying on your intuition from now on in, and belief in that, brand new beginnings from that. And I would say that coming into an essence of, I think you've been yearning for either a love or, sort of a soul connection. I would even say like soul family, soul tribe, that sort of connection, opening yourself up to that energy. I think people are coming into your life that's going to really connect with you, especially in the next week. But this is just the beginning. This is the beginning. The new week is the beginning of your brand new beginning, learning how to trust yourself. And if there's been any deception in the world, I feel as though it's been because you've not wanted to look at what you've really wanted. So you've almost deceived yourself a little bit. So again, belief in oneself. I feel as though the universe is really showing you the truth. And sometimes you want to tune in on it and sometimes you don't. But you want to tune in to it right now. And this week is going to show you so many new things. So keep up with the belief. New beginnings, moving onto your path and further down your path on your own terms. Brand new love is coming in, certainly, but there's a catalyst for it that's coming in this new week. And you're clearing your heart space for it. More purposeful living from a heart-centered life, like I said, continuing to ask for help when you need it, and it's definitely there for you, and not being ashamed for it. The people that are in your life that you ask for help, you actually help in different ways. It may not be as obvious on your side what it is you do for them, but it is much more balanced than you think it is. So please bear that in mind and please continue to ask for help. It is absolutely on its way and it is given freely and beautifully. So brand new beginnings on your own terms. And for some of you, pal, too, who are out there who are feeling a little bit shaky because this is a brand new beginning and you were just getting into the mode of trusting and believing in yourself, that's why you need to ask for help from all different directions. And again, trust yourself and who you're asking, because those are the people and the entities that can definitely help you in tangible ways. But as you might start the beginning of the week, like little baby steps where you're a little unsure, but I promise you by the end of the week, you are going to be standing strong in your own power. So that is wonderful, pile 2. I'm so proud of you. You've done so much work. If any of that resonates with you, give me a thumbs up. Do let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. I'm also available for private readings. All of my information is down below. Until we meet again, you take care, pile 3. Thank you. Bye-bye. Pile 2, by the way. That was pile 2. Okay, pile 3. So I've already done this where I'm keep mistaking pile 2 for pile 3 for pile. So the one thing that I can say about this is that, you know, if any of you are resonating with these messages and feel as though they want to go back to pile 1 or pile 2, I really feel as though in all of my readings that I've done so far, there's a little bit of a crossover with some of the, or a little bit of crossover with some of the readings, but I feel as though more so than ever, these definitely have a crossover. So if you're feeling like you want to, if you're resonating between some of the other piles, you might want to go back pile 3 to pile 2 to pile 1, and see if there's extra messages for you. So again, this is a timeless reading. This is for your week coming up. Whenever you find this video, these messages are relevant for you for that particular week. Your word is patience. So this really is, patience is giving us an idea of how this is going to play out, and sort of what it is that you're going to be working on this week. So patience with yourself, with the universe. We're going to get the clarifying. So we're going to get the clarifying cards here with both tarot here and with our oracle cards. But first of all, we'll just put our patience right there. So first of all, what we're going to do is hopefully get some other messages for you. So some automatic writing. So the first thing I'm getting is household. I'm not going to see too much into this. I'm just going to put them down. I am getting the color purple. Again, that came up. Not necessarily the book, but the color purple. Okay, very strange, but for some reason I'm getting the word bandits. I'm just putting down what I'm getting. Fantastic. Pleasure. Trust. Feelings. And I'm getting moonstone. That's something that came up earlier too. Southwest. And clarity. Okay, so these are specific words that I have here. Again, I don't want to go into them too much because these are your words. So we have household, purple, bandits, fantastic, pleasure, trust, feelings, moonstone, southwest, and clarity. So let's just stay with those for a second. I'm going to leave these to the side here. So pile 3. So if there's a little bit of a shift there, I'm sorry, something happened with the camera. So I'm just going to go back very quickly. Household, purple, bandits, fantastic, pleasure, trust, feelings, moonstone, southwest, and clarity. So those are your words. If they resonate with you, great. And your actual word for the pile is patience. So let's see what we've got here. Blessings, count your blessings, and the good in your life will multiply. The eagle, spirit, integrity, connection to the angelic realm. Ace of swords, that's wonderful. Okay, princess of swords. Okay, the hanged man, the devil, 9 of cups, reversed, and despondence. So for your upcoming week, pile 3, and again, this has a lot of layover with pile 1 and pile 2, so you might want to go ahead and listen to those messages too. But I feel as though the one thing that's been going on here is taking a break from everything and reassessing on your own terms. There's a few different things, and again, for pile 1 and pile 2, there's been a process where there's the energy that's coming into this week that's led you up to this week and what you'll be physically dealing with this week. So some of you have been dealing with, so there's several different things going on here. So the devil card is, I'm feeling with some kind of addiction. Now there's many different physical addiction, cigarettes, alcohol, whatever it is that you want to cut down on, something that you feel that it's not healthy. But there's another level for some of you. I think you've been reassessing your idea of evil and what it is that that means for you, and how that's been a process for you throughout your life. So reassessing what you felt was bad or what you stayed away from, and sort of seeing things in a sort of a brand new light. This also goes with shadow work and sort of illuminating what you thought was really, really dark and getting right into there and saying, actually, it really wasn't. For some of you, and this may sound a little dramatic, really being afraid of your own power, or even going further than that, thinking that a part of you is even somewhat evil or dark. Again, these were projections upon yourself, but what you've been doing is you've been reassessing what that means to you and realizing that that projection was projection, and moving through this in a really, really unique and beautiful way. This is what you've been doing. Now, this is very, very powerful work, Pile 3, so you need to be really, really proud of yourself. This is rare work where, this is a lifetime of work where people are very afraid to do this sort of work, and this is something that you've been doing. So when I feel like what we have here, so we have household, bandits, fantastic pleasure, trust, feelings. I feel as though some of you could have been shut down, and the way in which you experienced pleasure could have been a little bit different, because you sort of punished yourself throughout your life in some ways, because you didn't treat yourself as well as you could. I feel like you're very hard on yourself, Pile 3, but I also feel as though you're coming out from the other side of that now and reassessing on your own terms. Like I said, by shining and illuminating so much light on the darkness, only to find that what you thought was truly, and I will say quote unquote evil here, because it really wasn't, but it might have generated some bad and negative behavior and some to make you feel really bad about yourself. When you shed some light on it, you realize they were projections, and you were acting out from a place of not evil or real darkness, but miscommunication or a misunderstanding that just sort of festered a little bit. So this has been some really beautiful stuff. I feel like the despondence, again, this is all leading up to, this is what you've been doing and working on. The despondence is sometimes, the energy would make you put your hands up in the air and say, I'm done. I don't know what I'm doing. It could definitely have clouded your vision. Sometimes when you were so hard on yourself, it was almost feeling as though you were walking through a quicksand. It was very difficult for you. The Nine of Cups is usually a beautiful sort of a wish card here. Likening, in my opinion, to the Star card, which is the same card to me, to everyone. And I feel as though this card has been reversed for you because you couldn't see the blessings. It sort of, for a while when you went into that nervousness, that sort of that downward spiral of going in and really looking at that darkness, you brought some of that darkness out with you, and it might have integrated into some of your life where, it could have been depression, which is lifting now because you're seeing past it. But I feel as though some of you with this general reading, you may suffer from depression, or this understanding that, you can't see the wood from the trees, and you're worried that you don't see anything good in your life. And I feel as though this is something that you've done, and you've allowed your power in a way, because there's been a distrust. You've allowed your power to be taken from you in certain situations, because I don't feel as though you really had the energy to fight. And then again, you really made yourself feel bad about that, which just feels really bad. So it was the circle of what you were going through, and maybe it was some of this sort of energy, this darkness leaking out. But this is again coming into what you're doing. You've gone in, you've illuminated what you've done in the last couple of months particularly, but I would say consistently through your life, but particularly maybe in the last 3 to 6 years, is you've given yourself some space. And that's what you've done. You've actually, the patience makes so much sense now. With the clarity, I feel as though you've given yourself some space for the first time to really allow yourself to feel what you've been feeling. I feel as though you've really not wanted to do that before. Maybe you were afraid if you let this stuff out, would you ever be able to pick yourself up again? For some of you, it could have been like you just didn't have the energy to do it, or you were so full blown in a lot of this depression, which is very, very, very tough on every aspect of body and self. I can totally tell you that I understand and sympathize there, that you just didn't have the energy. Now, some of you just may have had a time where you're like, I just can't go on like this anymore. And that's where the space came from. But giving yourself the space did something kind of unexpected. You learned to have some patience with yourself. When you learned to have patience with yourself, you learned how to have patience with other people. When you gave people space, you started to realize that their reactions to you were just literally a projection of what they were going through, and you stopped taking things so personally. So there's something about the illumination of the internal that actually is shining out on the external, which is really beautiful for you. Now, this is all you. This should resonate so far. This is all you in the past, but it's leaking into your future in a good way, because what this has done in the leaking in part, is really just about, honestly, it's just about reclaiming your power. So this new week is about reclaiming your power, but it's reclaiming your power by living by your own truth. Now, the patience and understanding how this has all worked out for you is one thing. But, don't think for a second that some people don't need to be told, what they did and what they didn't do. So this is about reclaiming your voice and your throat chakra. You might want to do a little bit of singing or some throat chakra meditations. That would be excellent for you, because now you have all of this energy. And now it needs to come out. Now this truth needs to come out. Now, I will say to you, you're like a little bit of a baby walking forward. So if the truth comes out and it's a little bit of harsh this week, you are going to learn to work with that with tact later on. But my advice to you would be, you could always ask for help. You have a very, very strong connection with the angelic realm, and I'm definitely feeling Raphael and Michael here. And also, if you work with the beauty of Angel Ariel and Metatron too, who could bring you some excellent messages, ethereal messages, which you're now ready for. You can ask for help so it doesn't come out so harsh. But I will say this next week is about your truth coming out, and some people are going to hear it. Now, if you need to write a letter and burn it, that's fine. Do whatever you need to do. But there are some people that need to hear the truth. And if it comes out a little harsh, like I said, just allow yourself to have it come out. You can always go back and say, maybe I should have said it this way. But it's important that people hear this, and it's important that you hear your own truth. So when it comes out of your own mouth, you're actually taking in this energy, and you are actually watching yourself physically reclaim your power. So Pile 3, this is an exciting week for you, because you're going to be physically reclaiming your power after all of the work that you've done. Now, I feel as though you've been accused of all sorts of things. I feel as though you've really been projected upon in a very specific way. If things didn't go right in somebody's life, they blamed it on you, or they took it out on you in a very specific way. And you took on this energy, and that energy was really dark, and it was not okay. So I feel as though even if those people don't need to be told directly, get out and scream in the woods. If any of you are interested, I do have a book on healing with nature and with the tenets of witchcraft. It's called Healing a Witchcraft in a Conformist World. The link is down below. You can go ahead and get it on my website, or at the very least, read the preface and the first chapter for free. It'll give you an idea of what it's about. But there's a chapter in there about reclaiming your voice by physically screaming out your pain, and physically screaming out everything that people have done to you and projected. And I feel as though you've been projected upon quite vehemently in ways that were just not okay. I'm feeling like, and you get this. So this is your chance, Pile 3, to get out there. You've given yourself the space, which allowed you the patience to do the hard work of redefining darkness, redefining the word evil, and redefining all of that dark energy for you, and how it pertains to how people have projected upon you and what you took in. Now you're seeing the world in a brand new way. This week, like I said, is about you physically reclaiming your voice, and specifically your truth, and reclaiming your integrity. Your integrity never changed. I can honestly say that when you were being projected upon, there's a lot of anger in there, but it's very, very specific channeled anger, and you have every right to get it out. My advice to you, pile 3, is to get it out in a really, really secure, beautiful way. Like I said, get out in those woods and scream it out. Those trees will listen. And they will listen. And you're not doing it to blame anyone. You physically are giving back the energy that they gave you. And while you're doing that, you're grounding yourself into the new beginning that you're absolutely owed. You're clearing the way for a brand new future, and you're physically reclaiming your own power. Now, you have the eagle here. So you have a lot of energy with nature and spirits here. We have the moonstone here. Again, I don't want to process this, the channeling, the automatic writing at the beginning too much into this. Like household could be family members as a director. I don't want to do any of that, but do go back to these right at the beginning of the reading and see, now that you've had the reading, if any of those automatic writing words can be channeled, can be integrated into this reading, and they make more sense to you if they resonate with you. Certainly the clarity, letting out the feelings, and the trust and the patience. But also I feel like with the pleasure, you can also be very hard on yourself, as we've already stated, and this is something that's come up with pile 1 and pile 2. But I feel as though you had this very, very heavy, dark sort of energy around you. And like I said, it could have been somewhat addictive or addiction, which is addictive personalities around you could have been. So I feel as though there's an energy of you that had to shut down on some level in order to feel as though that you can survive. And I know that sounds really, really kind of like intense, and I don't mean it to be, but this is again old stuff, and you've gone through that. So the pleasure too, you're opening yourself up to the world in the next week on your own terms. Baby steps. Not only will you be able to sort of see the world in as a pleasurable place, instead of the terms of duality of light and dark, or evil and good, which is another way that I think that you worked with the world, because of those were the terms that were given to you. I think you sort of stepped out of duality and now understood, you now understand that everybody has a little bit of everything. And it's about balancing those concepts, and that's all it is. So I feel like with the blessings here, you can now see the blessings in your life in a brand new way, and be connected to them, and really rise, really rise with your frequency here, and attract and manifest what you want. So I feel as though with the eagle, I'm being told that your manifestation is at all-time high. You are free from this, the understanding of duality. And another way that duality could have been a negative thing for you is something good came in, you thought that something negative, you wouldn't be able to hold on to it, or something negative was going to come back in. I feel as though that's something that, one couldn't come in without the other. So that could be something that you've released recently with your re-understanding or your reinterpretation of duality. So now you can trust the blessings in your life. You can trust that the universe is working for you. You can manifest at a higher level, which is all stuff you'll be doing for this week. But your main thing, pile 3, is getting out there and physically getting your truth out there in the world. Now, you don't necessarily just need to tell people off, but I feel as though it's physically getting your truth out there, being really clear about what you want in the world, and saying it. Words are power. That's what I'm getting for you. Words are power for this week. So, tell somebody. If you want something and you're thinking about going for it, give yourself some patience and make sure that that's a heartfelt center. This is really what you're going for, not what you think you should be going for. But I think you're out of that now. So when you decide on something that you truly want, vocalize it. Use your words. Use your truth. You don't even have to speak to anyone. You could tell the universe. But this week is using your truth, putting it out into the world, reestablishing new boundaries that really needed to be established, recommitting yourself to your own sense of self in a brand new way, and manifesting on a really, really high level of what it is that you want. I don't feel as though anything that you want will be a surprise to you, but I don't know if you ever felt that you could have gotten there before. This new week is brand new beginnings for you. You're able to do this. And for those of you who are dealing with depression and still the offset of aspects of addiction that would have been integrated into part of your life because of the way in which you've been brave enough to face things in your life, please give yourself a break. Please give yourself the space and again the patience to know that all of this is being worked upon, that you are doing your best. Please do not be difficult on yourself or really push yourself too far or fast. All of this is falling away in its own time. Please give yourself that space. You are owed that space. It will happen. And just don't be hard on yourself or bring in that darkness anymore for yourself. You're a complete, beautiful human being. You've done incredible work. You've done it on your own. Please give yourself a pat on the back and just give yourself some space to be able to process on your own terms. So don't push yourself with things. If you're still having that one cigarette every now and again, or you're still doing this, or you're still doing that, don't worry about it. Just embrace where you are right now. Be really thankful. You're a human being who's done, like I said, an incredible amount of work. And this new week is going to be incredible for you. Once you start tapping into this card, if you work with tarot yourself, I would work with the Ace of Swords in any deck that you feel comfortable with. And really work with this card for this week, because this is your emblem for the week. And redefining your own truth and getting out there and putting that out into the world. And once you do that, your strength will come. Everything else will just fall away on its own. So give yourself the space and the patience to get there naturally, instead of, trying to push the addictions or trying to control them. Just trust that you have done your best, and you really genuinely have. So give yourself a pat on the back. Incredible work, pile 3. If any of this resonated with you, please do give me a thumbs up and go ahead and let me know in the comments below. I love hearing from you guys. I am definitely here to serve you and to make sure that hopefully these messages are resonating and that you're getting the support that you need. So I do love hearing from you. So again, thank you for joining me. Take care. And until we meet again, bye-bye.